Hey guys, this is Bryce Morrison with Cruise Planners. I'm here today to share with you what we do on any given weekend. We have smoked brisket. So I actually have foodandwinecruiseplanners.com for a reason. The fact is, we're huge foodies. We love food. We enjoy cooking it. We enjoy eating it. I am by no means an expert, but I have a little bit of fun. I've got a pellet smoker that's already fired up and ready to go over here, but right now we got to get the brisket ready. So this is an 8-pound brisket that I got at my local butcher. So whenever you buy a brisket, if you buy a full brisket, it's actually composed of two different parts. They call it the point and the flat. This happens to be a point. You know that it's a point because there's actually quite a bit of fat on it. The flat is a much leaner cut. The reason I went with a point on the smoker, that fat will actually keep this brisket super moist. This is going to be one of the best flavors you could ever have. However, if you get it at your local grocery store, that point may actually be so much fat that you're not going to enjoy it. This came from a butcher, so there's actually quite a bit of very good quality meat there, plus a nice vein of fat. So we're going to trim some of the fat. We don't want it all. Back down to about 1/4 of an inch. So we're just going to take some of that fat off. We don't want, like, that's just solid hard fat. We don't want that. We're going to take a lot of that off and get down to about 1/4 of an inch. So that's going to take a few minutes because I chose the smallest knife we have. It is a Cutco knife though, so shout out to my friend Aaron. He sells Cutco. But now what we're going to do is we're going to get the brisket ready to go on the smoker. The first thing you got to do, you got to have something on there that's going to bind your dry rub. I'm doing a dry rub to start with, but right now I just want some dry rub on there, some seasoning, so that we can really enjoy that flavor that the brisket has naturally. I like this rub. It's Beef Brigade. It's got some coffee in it. I really like that flavor. It gives it a nice flavor. In the end, the crust that will form is really nice. Just give that a little bit of a rub. I like to add a couple of other things. I like a little bit of heat, so I'm going to add some chipotle and some cayenne. By the time it's all said and done, it's not going to be super hot, not by any stretch of the imagination, but you'll taste a little bit in there. It kind of goes back down to that Tex-Mex that I grew up with. Now we're going to do this to both sides, but right now I'm just hitting this side. The last thing I put on here, I like smoked paprika. It's nice and dark, gives it a little bit of a darker crust. Everybody that looks at a finished brisket loves that dark crust at the end. So we're going to flip that over and do the exact same thing to the other side. So again, I'm no expert, but I know that I've had this several times, just like I just did. After about 8 hours on the smoker, it's going to be amazing. You want to do about an hour, hour and 15, or about an hour and 15, hour and a half per pound of meat. This is an 8-pound brisket to start with. I did cut off a little bit from the fat, so we can do it a little bit less than that. And here's the real secret. After you go to about 165 degrees, you can wrap it in peach paper. It's butcher paper, for another term. That butcher paper will actually hold everything in and allow the juices to make it get hotter even faster, and you won't lose any of the flavor. So after you've been smoking and getting that smoke in there for several hours, the peach paper will actually hold that smoke in, hold the flavor in, hold the juices in, and that last bit of cooking will happen much, much faster. So we know that we're going to be able to take this off in probably about 6 or 7 hours. Now the only thing left to do is for me to go inside where it's nice and air conditioned and allow Carla to mix me a cocktail.
Alright guys, my name is Carla and I'm making a cold brew coffee cocktail. This is a favorite of my husband and a favorite of my BFFs, and I'm not gonna lie, I like to drink it too. So you can use any bourbon. We're using this Piggyback because it's what we have. I would actually probably not use Piggyback because it's not cheap. But the simplest way to do it is I do 1 part bourbon. I think this is 1.5 ounces. I got my stuff in the way. Ice. So anyway, 1 part bourbon. 2 parts cold brew coffee. You can make your own or you can buy it. I prefer to buy it. Feel free to make a mess, I usually do. Then you pick up your dog and you put him on the table and he cleans it up for you. Then, like I said, 1 part bourbon, 2 parts coffee, and like 1/2 part of maple syrup. I kind of eyeball this. This is a 1/2 ounce and I don't fill it all the way full. Put all of that in your shaker. Again, there's ice in that shaker. Shake it up. Strain it over fresh ice, preferably a big ice cube or a sphere. Drink it like that, it looks really pretty. But let's add some more calories and put some heavy cream on it. This is supposed to be like 1 ounce of heavy cream, but I don't measure it. I just pour till it looks pretty.
Alright guys, so we've taken the brisket off. It's rested for about 1/2 hour. You need to let it rest so that the juices go back into the meat, just like with any steak or meat. I'm excited. This butcher paper is soaked with amazing juices. I can't wait to look at it. Look at that juice. Holy cow. You've found this through whether us sharing or you're a part of our group. But I want to make sure you understand, this isn't it. Carla does cocktails. We bring in our restaurants and their chefs and their bartenders. We bring those into our group and put them on our YouTube channels. You need to check out all that we're doing. Check out foodandwinecruiseplanners.com/podcast for more details. All our links are there. You'll be able to find everything we're doing.